everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Diverse Talks with Diversity. My name is Ria Renouf, and I will be your host once again for this edition. Today, joining me is Vandna Joshi. And Vandna has been with Diversity for more than 15 years, having held leadership roles for about 10 of those years. She immigrated to Canada as a skilled professional with a bachelor's degree in Ayurvedic medicine and a master's in psychology 20 years ago. With 16 years of experience working in the nonprofit sector at Diversity, she aspires to inspire other racialized women in their own journeys, emphasizing gratitude, determination, and resilience. Thank you so much for being on Diverse Talks with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. And just to let you know, by the time this bio is written, and between today, it's 2 years have passed, so it's almost 18 years.
18 years now. Oh my goodness. How does it feel to have spent, I guess, nearly 20 years with Diversity and just change making and all that?
It feels like home, number one. And then it's also very inspiring because you've seen the entire journey of the people that you worked with and the organization at the same time. So it's quite a journey, but it's also quite an experience.
Amazing. And you are in an incredible leadership position. You've been doing all kinds of different things with skills development and looking into how we can shape the future and how we can play a role in Canada's economy. So first off, what I want to start by asking you is, in terms of future focused skills, what would be the most critical of those skills for immigrants to have to be able to thrive in Canada's economy?
That's a great question. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball that I can look into the future, but I think we are very well aware how our environment is shaping up and what we need to put our focus into in order to make newcomers and immigrants to Canada really, really thrive in their economic journey and employment journey. So what I would add to that is definitely we are going into an era of digital and tech skills for sure, with AI taking over everything, and also the need for people to adapt and learn. So it's an era of continuous learning, and people who are able to learn and adapt and pivot to the changing environments, I think they are going to be very, very successful in the long run. But we can also not undermine the importance of sectors like healthcare, because in Canada, we have aging population. Green economy, that's the buzzword, sustainability, and especially with the housing market in such a deficit right now, we need people in skilled trade. And I would really, really like to emphasize the importance of business, finance, and entrepreneurship, which is very undervalued and underrated in Canada. And with everything going on geopolitics and other stuff, we really need to focus on how we make Canada sustain itself without having the dependency in other countries or other areas.
At the time that this is happening, there's obviously a lot of different things going on, and quite a few things that you touched there, different occupations, or I would argue are all timely, but are you seeing more folks who immigrate to Canada sort of taking on certain occupations? Is there one that's currently more popular than the other right now in terms of, or is it all sort of even across the board?
It's very different. We also have to recognize that immigrants come with some kind of pre-arrival qualification. So it really depends what they had in their country, and now how do they make it work in this new environment. So some people do want to kind of focus on their pre-arrival occupations and follow a pathway that is going to lead them to the thing that they have done before. But some are very, very open to trying different opportunities, and they would want to get into the pathways that are more enticing at this point, and they are not shy for making a career transition. So that's really critical. And I just want to focus on one more thing, that in this ever-changing landscape, the cultural adaptability and the cultural intelligence, we're talking about emotional intelligence, but the cultural intelligence is also going to be the key in the next few years.
Can you elaborate a bit more on the definition of cultural intelligence? It's a new phrase to me, so I'm curious. There may be some folks who aren't aware of what that is.
Yeah, so to me, what my understanding about cultural intelligence is to be able to thrive in a multicultural environment, work with people from different backgrounds, invite and respect their perspective, because that's how we would broaden our access to talent. Otherwise, if we are just set in our ways and we are not open to those kind of conversations, we are not going to move forward.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks to what Canada has been known for. Yes. Obviously, very much like always opening the doors, always embracing and welcoming people, and coming from all walks of life, different cultures and different ethnicities, so that I totally see how that would work, especially as we're moving ahead and looking at our future and the economy and welcoming different people for sure. And kind of on that note, what role should equity and inclusion play in defining what the skills of the future actually mean in a multicultural society?
Very, very interesting question. So I know we've been talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, DI initiatives like for a very, very long time. I think for most of the people, it has become a checklist in their policy or their framework, but I think it holds more value than just being a moral imperative. So with equity and inclusion, it's like you really have to embrace people's differences and bring them on the table so we can leverage their experience, we can leverage their skills, we can leverage the work that they do, right? And it's quite transformative. It's not just a buzzword to have, but it's quite transformative because that will reshape and redefine the future of skills in Canada. It will define who we work with and how we work with, how we value the non-traditional skill set, and how people are invited and valued for who they are and what they bring to the table. And we cannot put them in a box that if they cannot do this and their experience is not credited or valued. So that's going to be really important. And as I said, cultural intelligence, adaptability, in this era, anti-racism framework is going to be the key, because then you are able to embrace people in a better way, and they feel comfortable because they want to work for organizations and companies that would value the skills that they bring to the table.
Definitely. You have mentioned some opportunities for inclusivity, but applying that to the tech and the innovation ecosystem and the tech and innovation sector, is there anything else do you think that can be done to make sure that it is inclusive of folks who are perhaps coming from an immigration background?
Yeah, I wish the government is listening to this. Canada thrived on immigration. We have the most diverse and inclusive immigration policies, and we look forward to having them going in future as well. And it's not that tech sector has not benefited from that, but there could be even more opportunities to develop that. For example, we've not opened the global talent hiring practices, which is you can work from anywhere. We don't have to hire people just in Canada, or we can hire from anywhere. And now with the pandemic, work from home, work from anywhere is available. Yeah. So why not leverage that? And also creating pathways for people from different parts of the world to either immigrate to Canada or support Canadian economies working from their home countries. Mm-hmm. We definitely lack in some mentorship and networking pathways. So that's something we can build on. And also providing more support to startups, entrepreneurs. Yes. That's, as I said before too, we need to support our entrepreneurs. They're talented people who have great ideas, but they want to work for themselves. So why not support them and let them create something unique?
What kind of advocacies do you think we need to take part in? We, whether it's diversity or, as members of our community, how do we basically shout for those things? How do we appeal to make those things happen?
It is collaboration. We have to have a unified vision. And then with the unified vision, we need to bring these partners on the table, the government, the IT companies, the community representatives, and people like us who work with immigrants on the ground level. Like, we know exactly what the challenges of our communities are. So if we are not given a seat on the table, they're not going to actually know what's happening on the ground. And most of the time, a lot of the policies are not successful because they are made somewhere without consultations to the right type of people, with the right type of people. So that is critical. Like, who is your stakeholder at the table to do this consultation and come up with a plan?
Really just making sure that we have a seat, folks that need to have a seat at the table are having those experiences, do have a seat at the table and are represented.
And it's a diverse perspective too. People bring in different ideas, and maybe what I'm saying today is not the right thing, but maybe when people bring their different perspectives, something beautiful would come up.
Yeah, building on top of what we're all suggesting to come up with one cohesive, method of, I guess, achieving our goal, for sure. For sure.
We need to know what our goal is going to be.
100%, 100% agree. Yes. Diversity, I was actually looking at this thing that came out, this Evolve Skills, Empowering Tomorrow's Automotive Workforce Today. I've never seen a partnership like this, and I would love it if you were able to talk to me a bit about that and how that all started and what the purpose of it is.
This is going to be one of a very, very amazing project. How it started, definitely our CEO has a vision, and we also have a strategic plan that contributes to the sustainability of our planet and our communities. So, having that vision, once you have that vision, then you find the right people, as we were talking about in our previous conversation. It's a partnership between DIVERSETY, Vancouver Community College, and ACHEV, which is Toronto-based, and it's a national project which DIVERSETY is leading the BC partnership along with Vancouver Community College to train new and existing automotive workers in EV technology. Because nowadays we know there are EV vehicles. Everybody is going through the green economy, sustainability, and people are going forward for EV vehicles. So there are vehicles that are coming, but the workforce is not trained to maintain, service, and build them as well here in Canada. So this is our first initiative, and we are very, very happy to launch this in collaboration with ACHEV and BCC. So we look forward to this, and as BC partners, we will be training about 232 people over a period of 3 years.
Wow. Now, has that already started, or is that sort of in progress? Or?
It is going to start very soon. We are still in the planning stages of it. It's been approved by ESDC, and we will be launching it very soon. And you'll see it all over the place.
Amazing. What I find really fascinating about this is that, sometimes people say that policy and work has to come from a very specific level of government. But what I'm hearing about this collaboration is like you have a very hyper-local, diversity, super hyper-local, serving Metro Vancouver, based in Surrey, working with another group across like the country to make this happen, and then working with the government to make this happen. So do you think that those kind of partnerships make things complicated, or is it just is it a need, like, that we have to collaborate across all different levels of government to make these things happen?
Collaboration is the key to success. We cannot do everything by ourselves, right? We need different people, different partners on the table, but we need to find the right type of partnerships who are committed to creating thriving communities. And once that goal aligns, once that vision and the mission is aligned for a lot of the organizations, we can do wonders, because we provide service in one area. We cannot do what VCC does. We cannot do what ACHEV does, right? So, but when we come together, we are a superpower. We are a super force that, and diversity, collaboration has been at the heart of diversity is every program. Like we collaborate with all our local Work BC centers. We provide training through our skills training center. We cannot do it alone. We're not going to have all the area serviced just by ourselves. So we really look forward to our partners, and we are so grateful for all the partnerships and the support we receive from our community collaborators, colleges, local organizations, even like DIVERSEcity itself. Like there are a lot of nonprofit organizations, and we come together to do a lot of projects together because sometimes we are restricted by geographical locations, by the funder. So we can replicate these programs in different areas and in remote communities with the right partners in place.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that you would like the audience to take away from our discussion today, what would that be?
One thing that I would ask the audience to be really supportive of their communities, have an inclusive and adaptable mindset, because that's what is going to keep propelling us forward and making our communities better, and for our people here and for newcomers who come to this country.
Vandna, thank you so much for your time and for your insights. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Diverse Talks. We'll see you in the next one.